Hey guys, Sean C. Phillips here. We just got out of seeing the midnight screening of Man of Steel. We're in kind of a weird hallway, so it's got a weird echo, in this hallway, but there's some weird stuff on the walls in here and weird drawings. Now, we're not going to try and explain too much about the characters of Superman, because, in fact, I don't know when the last time I don't even know for sure I saw the original Superman movies for some reason.
Yeah, I don't think I did.
I know I saw Superman Returns, years ago. But this movie, from what it was, I know it was from the same writer as The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, and I think Batman Begins. And he has his kind of style to it. To me, though, I thought the opening 25 minutes or 20 minutes on the planet with Russell Crowe and the bad guy, I think it's Michael Shannon, who was in Ice, the Iceman, and a bunch of stuff lately, Premium Rush. I thought that was my favorite part of the movie for some reason.
Yeah, I think that was the strongest part because I just liked the whole element of that different planet, and they were just sort of doing the build-up of, his parents, and basically, like, how they lived on that planet.
And I thought the effects, I know it was a lot of CGI, but I thought it was they really put a lot of effort into making it look pretty cool. And when things, were going wrong there. But basically, what happens is Superman is sent from his parents from, he's on the planet Krypton and gets sent to Earth. And,
to save him.
Kevin Costner's character finds him and raises him, and it's kind of about him and growing. It kind of flashes back a lot, which I thought...
There were a lot of flashbacks to childhood.
I thought sometimes that it works, sometimes I wish they would have just done it more in order a little bit. But the stuff I liked the stuff... There was actually not enough of him as a kid, I thought.
Yeah, I think there could... Well, it was also funny
more.
because it was sort of different ages. Like, there was, 3 different ages that I think they did it. Like, when he was in grade school.
And then, high
school. And a little bit when he was older, teen years.
I like that. Yeah. I like that kind of redhead kid that was picking on that he saves.
Yeah,
Didn't he kind of remind you of Danny Tamborelli a little bit?
Yeah, he was funny.
I like that guy.
He kind of reminded me of O'Doyle Rules, too.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that guy. And he pops up a couple times in the movie, and there's a couple... just kind of funny stuff with that, but
him working at his job later on too. At IHOP, those three.
But it was like the whole thing was really about him on Earth and what he was doing, and then the main character, the threat of him coming back, and because I don't want to ruin too much about it, but Amy Adams was in it as Lois Lane.
Yeah. It's difficult to leave spoilers out because there was sort of a lot of
stuff, so you can't say too much about it. Yeah. But for what it was, I thought it was good. I thought it could have been trimmed down a little bit.
Yeah,
I thought, didn't you think at the end it felt like a couple of different times?
It kind of felt like it ended a few times. Like it was like, oh, is it going to end now? And then it was like, no, there's more. And it was
and you could tell it's a setup for a sequel, which I knew that going into it. But I think the sequel should be pretty good. But like I said, I really liked that opening. For some reason, I thought that was really well done. It reminded me of those old school science fiction, those kind of things. I don't know, kind of almost like. All that into one, but done really well, I thought.
You know what it sort of reminded me of too, like the architecture and stuff was like Chronicles of Riddick or something.
Yeah,
like it was like that sort of similar stuff on that planet.
Like I could watch a whole movie of just that planet.
Yeah, I could watch a whole movie of that funny kid though that went on to be working at the IHOP.
Yeah, Doyle's guy. Yeah. But we're not going to say too much about the movie. I liked it. I thought it was a little bit long. That was my main complaint. I thought it kind of jumped over the place a little bit.
Yeah, it skipped around a lot, but I mean, I guess that was part of sort of showing, how he adjusted living on Earth and sort of, just a lot of flashbacks.
Now, out of stars, out of 5, probably 3.5.
I'd probably say 3, yeah.
Yeah, 3.5. There's nothing the matter with it, but it wasn't when you compare it to Dark Knight Rises. I like them better.
And I really liked Captain America, to be honest, too, which was really well done.
But this was, to me, I like this a little bit more than I liked the last Iron Man.
Yeah.
Even though I like that, I like this a little bit more, though. But we don't want to keep this going too long. But anyway, though, guys, thanks a lot for watching and subscribing, and we'll see you later.
See ya.
Bye.